For 1,500 years they disappeared. Death came in a split second and their return was an astonishing coincidence. A darkness that shrouded the sun and a horror that corroded the souls. I come to tell you more than the ordinary tales of the destruction of Pompeii. I come to tell you the true story of the people who turned to stone. If you want to hear something more brutal than a horror movie, sit back and get ready for a thrilling journey through 2,000 years. Look carefully at this photo. They are ordinary people who were called fasting fugitives and were trying to escape from Pompeii, trying to save their lives when a 350°C wind destroyed them all in a second. Some asleep, some huddled together, some praying to the gods. But how did they turn to stone, and what did they experience for the last 24 hours? Was it a punishment from God or an ordinary natural disaster? 79 AD. Pompeii, a city of 15,000 inhabitants, was part of the Roman Empire and today lies on the Italian coast. The city of Pompeii, a city of 15,000 inhabitants, was as vibrant as ever, and its rich volcanic soils meant that agricultural yields were much higher than in other Roman cities, and maritime trade enriched the city as well. Pompeii was home to the summer villas of the Roman nobility, making it an ideal location for vacations and getaways. Fights, wild parties in the public houses, slaves catered to their masters' every unimaginable need, and the public enjoyed themselves in the baths and shopped in the forum. Thanks to its wealth and its position as a gateway to the world, the architecture and art created by the well-educated Pompeians would influence the architecture of both Europe and, years later, America. The city was thriving, with more than 100 taverns and inns for sailors and travelers. But little did they know that disaster awaited them very soon in Pompeii. The temples were full of pious Romans, who not only believed in the gods, but also practiced black magic. One amulet found in the excavations was made by one of the women who could not share the same man. The spell goes like this: Flamathion is the slave of Phosphorus. I dedicate her face, her hair, her mind, her breath, her vital organs to the gods of hell, so that you will not have her. He will hate her and she will hate him. His testicles will be useless, so that she will always be empty inside. People went on with their daily lives, but they were also aware that something had gone wrong lately. The earthquakes that had been going on for weeks began to cause panic among the people. The city's water pipes were damaged, some of the baths and pools were unusable, and more than half of the Pompeians, especially the rich, were already leaving the city. But no one thought that the earthquakes were caused by the movements of Mount Vespasian, which was 8 kilometers away from the city and had been dormant for years, and by the time they realized it, it would be too late. It's only the beginning for the people of Pompeii, who can't make sense of what's happening. There's still no reason to be afraid of a tree-covered mountain to talk about what to do about what they've been through. The situation seems to be temporary, but the frightening sight of the volcanic eruption causes another significant population to flee the city. But this is a far more catastrophic eruption than the mornings, so massive that it is thousands of times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. 100.000 tons of ash, lava and pumice per second. The impact of the eruption blew the roofs off many houses and threw people to the ground. Panic broke out in the city. A 35-kilometer column of lava and ash particles rose into the sky, creating a horrible sight. Can you imagine the sight? A 35-kilometer giant pile of lava, ash and stone rising from a mountain by 2 p.m. The sky was already covered with black smoke. The volcano was not only spewing lava and ash, but pumice stones from the volcano were raining down on Pompeii in piles of 30 centimeters in the streets. Tens of thousands of kilometers of black smoke were creating lightning bolts of unimaginable intensity. Imagine the scene like this: pumice stones and ashes raining down from the black smoke covering the sun, and every second gigantic. So far Pompeii has experienced a rain of ash, smoke and pumice, and the devastating goose clouds that were to deliver the killing blow had several times crashed at great speed against the city walls and dispersed, giving the people of Pompeii a little more time to survive. But in the last great wave, a 350°C cloud of fire engulfed the city at a speed of 100 kilometers, and it took only a second for them to lose their lives. Nothing in their last moments. At 8 o'clock in the morning of October 25th, there were no survivors in Pompeii. The burning cloud that had reached the city had destroyed every one of them, and the piles on the streets reached 3 meters high. At the end of the ash rain that continued for days, the city was completely buried underground and the book of Pompeii was closed.